So we are thankful to the Most High God that we are never left without. I ask that you would rest your seat and that you would receive our teacher of the day, even in the person of the minister, Misharet Rakavamel, the son of Adon Yadiel ben Levi ben Yisrael, Baruch haba.
Please be seated. It's a blessing to breathe, so blessed be he. So blessed be he till his blessed soul leaves me. To the men in this congregation and congregations like this, may God bless your lives. To the women in this congregation and congregations like this, may God bless your lives. To the children in this congregation and congregations like this, may God bless your lives. It's truly a privilege and an honor to have slight knowledge of God Most High, and I want to greet you all by saying Shabbat Shalom. And y'all sound like y'all have sleep. Y'all like, it's all right though. We're in the house nonetheless. I ask you to repeat after me. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that's within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Who forgives all thine diseases? Who forgives all thine iniquity? Who heals all thy diseases? Who redeems thy life from the pit? Who encompasses thee with love and kindness and tender mercies? Who satisfies thine old age with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagle. So here we are. We had a beautiful teaching last week from our brother, the Chief Levav, and he gave a lot of insight as to what Yaakov was going through. It was a very direct and perspective. We can all appreciate that, right? But I want to go in a little bit deeper. But before we do that, I think it's fitting to have an honest conversation. A lot of times that we're encouraged to trust God, and we encourage others to trust God and say, don't worry about it. God got you. He's in the bag, you know. You just have to keep doing what you're doing and trust God. But while you're going through that particular experience, it is one of the most terrifying experiences that you ever have in your life. You know, it's one of those things where your hands get sweaty, your heart beating all fast because you're uncertain. You don't know the outcome. You're anxious about a particular matter. And you don't know how God is going to navigate in that situation. You don't know how he's going to move and how he's going to determine what's going to happen in your life. So it'll put you in a space of panic in some cases. I don't know what happened, my God, But during those times, I like to call it the darkness, right? Because you can't see, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's all dark, right? It makes sense. So y'all with me? Oh, yeah, that's all right. It's all good. I'll talk to myself. It's fine. So, so during those times, I like to call it the darkness. And during, every scary movie they have, every zombie movie, the vampires, the exorcists, the serial killers, the crime movies, it's always dealing in the space of darkness, right? So we understand that when darkness is presented, that it's to scare you because you don't know what happened. You can't see directly. It's not clear. Am I correct? All right. So now you see where I'm going with this, right? So during your times of darkness, what do? You try and seek, run for the light. You try and find other things to put light or shed light on the situation so that whatever you're going through will be a lot easier to walk through it, correct? But I want you guys to remember, and I'm saying this to myself as well, that the eternal God hovered in the darkness. The eternal God was present in the darkness before he decided to make the earth. So with that in mind, when you're going through your darkness, you're going through your tough times, just know and strengthen yourself and fortify yourself knowing that God is there. God Most High is the one that carries you throughout all these situations. If you like to plant When does the seed grow? It grows in the dark. It grows in the soil at night. That's when fruit grows, right? So during our times and tribulation, through our darkness, know it's the living God that's cultivating you and growing you and making you fortified, making you all the things that you ask for, because we ask and pray to be strong and prosperous and all these things that we pray for. And then when God Most High puts you in situations to give you what you ask for, a lot of times we panic and fold. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong, because we all go through. We all say, "Oh no, I don't know if this is for me." You start debate, like discounting your, not discounting, but doubting yourself. So I'm here to encourage you. When those times come, you got to just stand on your own too and trust in God to carry you. That's it. That's all. This Shabbat is Wayechi. It speaks about the last couple years of Jacob. Now, a lot of times when I was growing up, they used to give Jacob a real bad rap, right? They gave him a bad rap, and they say that it was obvious that he loved Yosef more than he did all his other children. Y'all have heard that before, right? And that he spoiled Yosef, right? And Benjamin, correct? How y'all feel about that? Do y'all agree or disagree? Okay, so let's say all right, nobody has to. Okay, that's cool. It's fine. So, in my opinion, I think it was a bit more than that. I think it was. We have to consider that Yaakov wanted Raquel. He didn't plan for Leah. He got Leah as a bonus. He got a bonus wife because Laban because Laban did something that was deceitful, correct? But he really wanted Raquel. That's what he wanted. If I asked for fried chicken and you give me barbecue chicken too, I'm really not going to say I don't want the barbecue chicken. I'm probably going to take both pieces of chicken, you know? And I don't mean to compare a woman to a piece of meat. I'm not doing that. So don't hit me in the comments like, oh, he's misogynist. This is the patriarchy. You know, I'm not with all that. It's not what I'm saying. I'm giving an example. I really am, because don't annoy me, please. So what ends up happening is that because that's who he wanted, he had more affinity to it. So now before they even left for Padan Aram, also consider that there's a key point that Yaakov, there's a key point that some of us miss. That when Laban approached Yaakov in his camp after they left, after he worked for him for 20 years, he said anybody that has a teraphim is going to die, right? They should die, or whatever, however it's framed, correct? I want you guys to consider that. Don't think that Yaakov forgot that he said that. And then after you make this point and you stand on your tool and the wife that you love dies, because death is a scenario in which that we all reflect. Death will make you reflect and think. You remember everything when somebody passes. Just like, oh, I should have did this. I should have did that. You regret a lot of things, correct? Don't think for an instant that Yaakov didn't think that would recall what he said about Raquel. Don't for one instance think that, right? So now he's dealing with guilt. This is my perspective. Yaakov was dealing with guilt. Because not only did he say that about his beloved wife, not knowing that it was hers, not knowing that she had it, but Joseph didn't have a mother, right? So now all the other brothers and siblings, they having Bilhah, Zilpah, and Leah, and Joseph is just wandering around doing nothing. So in my estimation, Yaakov was trying to overcompensate, because you don't know how it feels to be motherless until you're motherless. You understand what I'm saying? It's not something that you feel. It's not a good feeling. At this big age, me being motherless is just like atrocious. It's for the pits. I do not recommend. It's ghetto, right? So at the same time, we have to consider all these things that what Joseph went through, right? And then they ended up throwing him in the pit. We know that, right? We know the story. Threw him in the pit. They sold him. He got accused of trying to rape a woman, and that's really foul. Or having, because somebody that you don't want says that you took advantage of them. That's nasty work. But through all of the darkness that Joseph went through, right, being mistreated by his family, being sold and being worked and thrown into prison, God was doing what? Cultivating him. So even him being in the prison, he learned the skill sets and learned how to manage and budget and allocate food and set up rations for everyone that wanted to eat. So when it came time for the famine in Egypt, he already had those skill sets. God already prepared him. So when you're in your darkness, just know that God is preparing you for greater. The same way he did our father Joseph. All right? So we're going to pick up the story in Genesis, the 47th chapter and the 28th verse. Amen?
In Genesis chapter 47, verse 28. And Yaakov lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the days of Yaakov, the years of his life, were 147
Uh-huh.
years. And the time drew near that Yisrael must die. And he called his son Joseph and said unto him, If now I have found favor in thy sight, put I pray thee thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt. But when I sleep with my fathers, thou shalt carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he swore unto him. And Yisrael bowed down upon the bed's head.
Now, why was that important? That was important because he understood that that was the land that was promised to his father Yitzchak. You understand what I mean? That was very important to be buried with his father. So he said, listen, he did something that a lot of us don't do. He prepared for the future. He knew what was happening. He says, hey, listen, one thing I know about being alive, being here on this earth is that nobody makes it out alive, right? Nobody makes it out alive. So he knows that, and he's preparing, and he wanted to be with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and Leah, Rivka, and Sarah. That's what all were in the cave, correct? So he said, and he made provisions so that upon his demise, upon his death, that he'll be buried with it in the land of his fathers. Continue. 48.
In chapter 48. And it came to pass after these things that one said to Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Yaakov and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Yisrael strengthened himself and sat upon the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And Yaakov said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me and lose in the land of Canaan and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a company of peoples. I will give this land to thy seed after thee for everlasting possession. And now
So even in his demise, towards his death, he knows his death is coming. He is still strengthening the promise of God. He's still affirming and gather himself to the promise of God. That's how we have to navigate. Like when you're going through your rough times, whatever it is, even if you're having a good day, because I pray that you all have more good days than bad days. Remember the promises of God. Let's reiterate it to yourself. It's so important that it's so apparent that it's written in Torah, right? It's written, you're supposed to pray 3 times a day, the 3 offerings. That is something that's constant. You see fringes, you see the signs. These are all things to affirm us and remind us of God's goodness and the promise of God towards us. Because you know that God is faithful. He's going to keep his promise, right? So that when you're going through your things, you could use it as a catalyst, as a springboard to keep yourself afloat, correct? All right, continue.
Verse 5. And now thy 2 sons who were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh, even as Reuben and Shimon, shall be mine.
Right.
And thy issue that thou begettest after them shall be thine. And they shall be called after the name of their brethren and their inheritance.
So they got jumbled in with, not jumped in, but they got placed in with the other 12 tribes, right? And we are all know Ephraim. Who came from Ephraim? Give me a big one, huh? Jeroboam did, But who before him? Who was the one? Who was the good one? Yehoshua, right? So we all know that this was apparent in history. Yehoshua, son of Nun, was from Ephraim, and also Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, was from Ephraim, right? Manasseh, he had respect. He had, but Ephraim's seed had carried a lot of weight. Continue.
Verse 7. As to me when I came from Padan, Raquel died unto me in the land of Canaan in the way, when there was still some way to come to Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way to Ephrath, the same as Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
And Yisrael beheld Joseph's sons and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, These are my sons whom God had given me here. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. The eyes of Yisrael were dim for age, so that he could not see.
Like just like his father Isaac. Continue.
And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them.
And
Yisrael said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face.
Because we know that, because his brothers ripped up his coat, threw blood on it, and threw him in the pit and said Joseph was not, right? The fact that when they found out Joseph was alive, they was like, oh, he's alive. Let me go see him before I die, as our teacher explained last week. It gave him a new life, a boost even. Continue.
God have let me see thy seed also.
Right.
And Joseph brought them out of the between.
So he went from thinking you were dead to seeing his children. So you understand how full circle this is for Yaakov. He's in a totally different space. He, to the point that on his deathbed, he's recounting all of the goodness of God that he's seen. Right? Continue.
And he fell down on his face to the earth. Mm-hmm. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand towards Yisrael's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Yisrael's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Yisrael stretched out his right hand and placed it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger,
right?
And his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Yitzchak did walk, the God who have been my shepherd all my life long into
A
this
shepherd
day.
all my life. Because you gotta remember, he left when he left. He went to Padan Aram with what? What did he have? Nothing. He had a stick. He had a stick and faith. And with that stick, he made a promise to God. Said, if you bring me back to my father's house in peace, you'll be my God. He made a deal. Right? He said, you give me food and water, a place to stay, and bring me back to my father's house in peace, you'll be my God. That's a pretty bold, a pretty bold action. Right? Continue.
Verse 16. The angel have redeemed me from
All
all evil.
evil.
Bless the lives and let my name be named in them.
Uh-huh.
In the name of my fathers Abraham and Yitzchak, and let them
Them
grow
going
into
to
a multitude in the midst
of the earth. Uh-huh.
And when Joseph saw that his father was laying his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head.
Because Manasseh was the elder. Continue.
And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn.
Uh-huh.
Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused it and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. Howbeit his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, by these shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and Manasseh. And he said Ephraim before Manasseh.
Mm-hmm.
Israel came unto Joseph, behold, I die. But God will be with you and bring you back into the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow.
So we understand that Yaakov, Israel, at this point is carrying on tradition. He's making sure that the promises that his descendants know of the promises of God, that the covenant that God made with Abraham and passed it to Yitzchak, he's now passing it to all, not only his 12 sons, but his grandchildren as well. All right? 49.
In chapter 49. Yaakov called his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which will before you in the end of days.
Right.
Assemble yourselves and hear, ye sons of Yaakov, and hearken to Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might and the first fruits of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable as water hast thou not the excellency, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then that defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
These are his. So I'm not mean to laugh. I'm sorry, but these are his father's last words. Like he knows he's going to die, right? And on his deathbed, he's recalling the atrocity that Reuben did. On his deathbed, I never forgive you for doing that. That's crazy. Reuben was out of pocket. So it goes to show you that we have to be cognizant and aware of how we navigate and how we treat people, myself included. Verse 5, let's go.
Verse 5. Shimon and Levi are brethren, weapons of violence, their kinship. Let not my soul come into their council, unto their assembly, let not my glory not be united. For in their anger they slew men, and in their self will they heave oxen. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Yaakov and scatter them against Israel.
We all know let Shimon had his land, but Levi was all over the land. We know this is the instance that occurred, or scenario that occurred with Dinah and Shechem, correct? All right, cool, no problem. Continue.
Verse 8. Yehuda, these shall thy brethren praise. Thy hand shall be on the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's son shall bow down before thee. Yehuda is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion. And as a lioness, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Yehuda, nor the ruler slide from between his feet. As long as men come to Shiloh, and unto him shall the obedience of peoples be. Bringing his flow unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. He washes his garments in wine, and his vesture in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the shore of the sea, and he shall be a shore for ships, and his flank shall be upon Zidon. His eyes crouched a large brown eyes crouching down between the sheepfolds. For you saw a resting place that it was good, and a land that it was pleasant. And he bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant under taskwork. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Yisrael. Dan shall be a serpent in the way, a horned snake in the path that bieth the horse's heels, so that his rider falleth backward. I wait for thy salvation, O Yehovah.
Amen.
God a troop shall troop upon him, but he shall troop upon their hill. As for Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful vine by a fountain. His branches run over the wall. The archers have dealt bitterly with him. and shot at him and hated him. But his bow bore firm, and the arms of his hand were made supple by the hands of the mighty one of Yaakov, and from from the shepherds, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee, for blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that croucheth beneath, blessings of the breast and of the womb, the blessings of thy father that are mighty upon the blessings of my progenitors, unto the utmost bounds of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of the prince amongst his brethren. The Benjamin is a wolf that raveneth. In the morning he devoureth the prey, and at even he divideth the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Amen.
And this is that their father spoke unto them and blessed them, everyone according to his blessing that he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto him, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephraim the Hittite, in the cave which is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan which Abraham bought with the field from Ephraim the Hittite for possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife, and there they buried Yitzchak and Rivkah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The field in the cave that is therein, which was purchased from the children of Het. And when Yaakov made an end of charging his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and expired, and was gathered unto his people.
So it was a blessing that in fact that he was surrounded by his family when it was his time to be expired. It sounds morbid what I'm going to say, but it's a bit comforting that you know that you're around people that you love when it's your time to leave. But we have to understand that, these are the words and the blessings that Yaakov left and put on his children. And we could see throughout our history that these words ran true, right? So he also made an emphasis that he should, a couple times that he wants to be buried in the cave of Machpelah. And I guess because his sons didn't listen a whole bunch of times, he said it about a good 3 times because, sometimes when it comes to death and things like that, a lot of times our own feelings get in the mix and we want to know it should be this way, it should be that way instead of sticking to the script. Yaakov made it very clear what his intentions were and what his desires were. So we have to take a page from that book when it's our time where we have to lay things out flat because no one wants to be having to deal with all this grief and all the nonsense that comes with it, right? So Yaakov and he was spiritually sound. These are things that he set up to make sure that everything was as seamless as possible. He knew what it was. He knew what it was. He knew it was his time, right? So let's continue in chapter 50.
Chapter 50. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. He also commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him. But so I fulfilled the days of embalming. Right. And the Egyptians wept for him 60 days.
Right.
When the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph spoke unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I dig for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. But therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come back. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father. And with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph and his brethren, and his father's house, and only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen.
Because we gotta understand that Yaakov, sometimes we don't see it, but Yaakov was a very, very great man. Like this is we spoke about it briefly earlier, how he made a deal with God. Said, listen, you give me food and clothing and bring me back to my father's house, and peace should be my God. But also he was the one that fought for his blessing. Like physically fought. Like he physically fought all night and held on to the angel or whatever being that was for his blessing. His whole life was unique. From him having to deal with the absence of Raquel and all his sons wilding from Reuben and Yehuda to everything else, that he had a very full life. He had a very, very full life. So now everyone recognized his importance because of who Joseph was in Egypt, and he was the viceroy second in command. So all of Pharaoh's house went to the funeral. It's like when a king passed away, they made sure that he had the best procession, like how when Biggie passed, they rode him through Brooklyn and all that. It was something else on a grander scale. All right, continue.
Verse 9. And they went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And there they came to the threshing floor of Atah, which is beyond the Jordan. And there they wailed with a great and sore wailing. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land of Canaanites saw the mourning at the floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians."
Right.
Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond the Jordan.
Because of course they had Egyptian clothes on, all that. Yaakov was embalmed. That it was safe to assume, oh, these are Egyptians. Continue.
Verse 12. And his sons did unto him according to as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field, for possession for a burying place of Ephron the Hittite in the front of Mamre.
Right.
And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father.
Here it comes.
And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, "It may be that Joseph will hate us, and will further requite us of all the evil which we did unto him." And they sent a message unto Joseph, saying, "Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the transgression of thy brethren."
I need the 11 brothers to come up with a better story. The other stories with the lion, the beast devoured him in the blood, and Yaakov probably still didn't believe it all the way. He just accepted it. But here they go with another story. Go ahead, continue.
"And their sin for that which they did unto the evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the transgressions of the servants of the God of thy father." And Joseph wept when they spoke unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, "Behold, we are thy bondmen."
Now he cried because this is what you're thinking. Like they didn't see how God delivered the entire family. It went from being a famine, living in the famine, going down to Egypt to purchase food, to now you have an abundance within the famine. That's pretty much how we are now. Like we don't understand how much of an abundance that we have because we just don't see it. Other people in other places have a whole lot less than us. If we wanted to switch clothes every day, we could. Most people have got to wear the same. A lot of people have to wear the same shirt, wash it, hanging out at night. But here we go. I want, I kind of want that pink hoodie. I think I'm gonna go get that one. We don't understand fully how blessed we are, because a lot of times we look at the blessings as being super, super rich, right? We want that Elon Musk money, right? We want that we want that Bill Gates money. We want that bag, not realizing that being able to get up and walk to the store and back is in fact a blessing. That our knees still work, that we can still see, that our heart doesn't need assistance to beat. We are so looking. It says comparison is a thief of joy. How can you be happy when you're comparing yourself to other people all the time? You have to look at what you have and recognize the blessing that God gave, because what if God may see you as being ungrateful? That you don't appreciate what he gave you. I'm looking at, I want what he has, not realizing the blessing that you have. Let's not go that way. God Most High set up the whole situation. He prepared Joseph. He threw him in the dark. He threw him in a dungeon. And like I said before, when do seeds grow? At night, in the dark. They grow in the soil, correct? No, y'all don't know. Okay, listen. The moonlight helps crops grow. Moonlight. So at night is when they grow, right? The earth is created. It said God hovered in the darkness, correct? So that means that God is present where? In the dark. So when the darkness comes, are you to feel uncomfortable? Yes, you are, but you trust in God. One of the scariest things in the world is to trust in God. Whoa. Yeah, I said it. It is. It's absolute, because you don't know the outcome. It's a reminder that you do not have control over your life. You know how scary that is, especially as a man. Yeah, I'm going to go work overtime, do double shifts. On Thursday, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. That's how we function. Humans function that way. We like, I got this in the bag. But when it's a level of uncertainty, you get them little butterflies in your stomach. All of a sudden, your hands start feeling a little sweaty. You get that one sweat right here, and you start debating. I don't know if I could do this. That's the time when you cleave unto your maker. You keep walking forward, one foot in front of the other. That's it. That's all you can do. Because God Most High is going to hold you up. If you trust in him, there has not been a time in my life where I trusted in him and I was let down. Not one time. And I've been in some very unnecessary places. But there's not one time. So even in your darkness, even through your rough time, God is preparing you for greater. That's what he said. It's not something I'm making up. It's all written. It says that we should read it, 3 times a day, put signs up. This is what God said. This is not just, I'm not drawing this out of the air. So now Joseph understood that he was a vessel in the plan, That's why he was upset. Like, yo, y'all still bugging over this? Like, my daddy dead. We all eat. We all rich, and you good. And you still worrying about this? Continue.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And his brethren also went and fell before his face, and he said, Behold,
We are thy
bondmen.
bondmen.
And he Joseph said unto them,
Cut it
Fear
out.
not, for am I in the place of God? And as for you, ye meant evil against me, but God meant it for good.
So we have to. Amy used to say that all the time. I used to be upset one time. Am I gonna say this? Yeah, I'm gonna say part of the story. So I went to Miami. I'm here in Miami, right? I went to Miami. So I was having a very, very good time. So what ended up happening was it was on Shabbat. It was a Friday night. So I came in, I think, a Friday morning. So I came in Friday morning. Friday night, my dude was like, "Oh, you want that Sabbath stuff? Yo, man, I can't wait till you get off that." So he used to tell me because I used to have a lot of fun. So what ended up happening was the sun is down. I went on the beach on Shabbat. There was a lot going on. And I said, you know what? The things I was seeing was not holy. It was not sanctified. I said, you know what? Let me go back into my hotel room and just relax. So I go back in the hotel room. So then sundown came, knock on my door. We started indulging. I'm having a good time, right? Met this young lady, Shaquita Shaquana. She was grimy. She was real grimy. But I can't. I'm not gonna say all of it here. But I'm just saying she was inappropriate, right? So when I came back to the hotel, she was waiting for me, and she was just like, "Oh, you gonna?" I said, "Nah, chill, cause I'm leaving parts of the story out on purpose, cause it's. So I came back to the hotel. I came in the front. She said, "Yo, what's up? We gonna hang out?" I said, "No, I want to watch the sunrise." So she said, "You rather watch the sunrise than hang out with me?" I said, yeah, I rather would." So then I called my Ivy because he worked night, so I'm talking to him on the phone while I'm watching the sunrise, beautiful night, whatever the case is, right? I know you're like, what is the point of the story? This young lady, she was, because it was a group trip I went on. She was in charge of the trip. They ended up charging me my hotel room with champagne and all types of food. So I got like a stupid charge, right, on my credit card, or on my bank card, because I didn't have a credit card in, because I didn't want to hang out with you. Let me tell you something. I was so mad. I called my mama. You mad. You call your mother like you just ah. And then she asked me one thing. Well, did you hang out with her? I said, no, I didn't hang out with her. And I'm going off. And she said to me, she said, all things lead to good. And she said something to me, but I understood what she meant. She said, you don't always get rewarded for doing the right thing, right? But I understand what she meant. You do the right thing because you're supposed to do it. Even though this negative thing happened to you, you're still supposed to do the right thing. You get what I'm saying? Am I saying it right? All right. So she wasn't saying that there's always a reward for the righteous. There's always a reward for doing good. God will take care of you for doing what you got to do. That's valid. But she's saying in this instant, you do what you're supposed to do it. I got back, and mind you, they took all the money. And at the time, I had one savings. I was young. They took all the money out of my account and froze it, man. I lost it. Lord knows I lost it. But my whole point is that, listen, you're always not going to be rewarded for doing the right thing. You don't know what God is doing as you're going through these particular things. You get what I'm saying? Am I connecting? No, a little bit, no, whatever. So that situation, even though I lost money, I was introduced to my character, to who I am. You get what I'm saying? So why be upset? Like, these things are gonna happen. Like, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about the minute things, the crazy. Listen, God got you, because the money that they took now, that's like, it's not a lot of money in retrospect. So we thank God. So in the same way, Yaakov, Joseph has gone through all that stuff. It showed his character, especially at this point, to say, listen, yo, we're here to blossom and grow, not just to, oh, yeah, now Abi's dead. Now it's my turn to shine. He already had this. When did Joseph get his get back? When they was coming back and forth. And he was playing with them, putting the goblet in the sack, doing all types of stuff. Oh, is your father alive? Bring your father. Who was Benjamin? Bring him here. Leave Shimon in jail. These are all the things that he did, right? Right? Wake up. Come on. We almost out of here. Let's go. We home stretch. We out of here. Continue.
To bring to pass as it is this day to save much people alive. Therefore, fear ye not, I will sustain you and your little ones.
Uh-huh.
And he comforted them and
So
spoke
kind,
kindly
and
unto
in
them.
that position, he still didn't have a negative position. He understood the importance. He understood his place in the world. He understood that. He understood that it was God that was in control, not him, that God gave him the power. God is the one that gives you the power. It's not you. It's really not you. Because when it's all said and done, God will raise another. It sounds cold. It sounds, oh my gosh, it's shocking, but it's the truth. Because what did he tell Moses? Hey, listen, it's time for you to go on the mountain and die. Or how about he told Aaron, hey, Aaron, take those clothes off and give it to your son because you're about to die. That's crazy. After all the work I did, I done walked up this mountain all this time. All this, it's a 4-hour walk up Mount Sinai. I googled it. It's 4 hours. So we going to Baltimore and back every time he went up the mountain. I'm serious. It's crazy. But at the same time, it goes to show you that no one is bigger than the program. Nobody's bigger than the program. So while you have the life, while you have the strength, you give it to God and make sure you do it out of space of love. Don't do it like I'm gonna do it because I know I'm gonna get a blessing. Nah, you do it because you want to do it. You do it because you enjoy it. It said the worship of the Lord and joy and gladness for the one of all things. Come on, let's get it. Because one day we're not gonna have this opportunity. One day I'll be like this, and you're gonna say, Kavah, he was decent, and about a month later they'll forget about me. It's just what it is. Somebody else will be up doing prayers. It's the reality of life. I don't mean to sound cold or morbid, but that's how I think. That's why I go as hard as I can, because I know at some point I won't be able to. I won't be able to. I may be too old. Or let somebody else, because I mean, there's a lot of young men here. We talked about passing it, right? There's a lot of young men here that are capable. Y'all are really capable, more capable than y'all realize. Believe me, y'all are more capable than you realize. Don't let anybody take you out your game. Y'all have the opportunity to be double better than us, like double portion. I'm dead serious, because y'all could look at us, see all the mistakes that we made, see our flaws, and improve. And that's what it's about, improving. Because Joshua was a whole lot different than Moshe. Moshe was having conversations and court sessions. Joshua was like, yo, hey, did you do it? You did it? Get him out of here. That's it. That's all. He wasn't with it. It was a totally different regime. You get me? Take advantage of the opportunity, man. Go hard, because it's not going to be here forever. Continue.
Verse 22. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children to the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were born upon Joseph's knees.
Amen.
And Joseph said to his brethren, I died, but God will surely remember you and bring you up out of this land unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov.
Which God swore. God is the faithful God who keeps his word, correct? Continue.
Verse 25. And Joseph took an oath for the children of Israel, saying, God will surely remember you, and you shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All praises to the living God and everlasting King. That closed a very important, basically our nation's beginnings. We were able to see and read and witness and look at the character of our fathers and look at all that Yaakov went through with dealing with his guilt, and I would say trying to not overcompensate, but trying to make his younger children feel comfortable because they didn't have a mother, right? Remembering his words that he spoke about when yet Rachel took the teraphim. Like I had a whole list. Let me read this because I didn't even read my notes. Forgive me, y'all. Hold on, let's go. Because I had a whole list of it. But we have to consider how Yaakov felt seeing Yosef being motherless without his siblings. Right? None of his children had that experience. Also consider that Yaakov was a man of a man of intelligence and spiritual intelligence. Yaakov was groomed by Abraham and Yitzchak, who were known to be spiritual men. Do you not think that Yaakov reflected when the word spoken stated, whoever has taken a teraphim must die, and Rachel died soon after? It is safe to assume that Yaakov was aware of what he said, right? We also know that when death occurs, Jacob, when death occurs, we have no other option but to reflect. That's why in the book of Ecclesiastes it says stuff like better is the house of mourning and the house of myrrh and stuff like that. Because when things get real, as we say, you consider everything. Oh man, I got to get it together. Oh, so and so got shot. I'm gonna lead the game. I'm not gonna stop that. I have some associates of mine that passed away due to health reasons. Like one of my guys, he passed. Well, I say associate. He was he passed a cirrhosis of the liver. That was something that he used to drink. Like, I mean, drink. And it puts you when those things happen, it puts you in the space to say, hey, listen, I'm the same person. It could be me, right? You may not see how God is cultivating you, how the Eternal is grooming you. You don't always see it, but just know that He is. You have to trust in the program. You have to trust in the program. If you're not out here to be malicious, you're not out here to do anybody wrong or defraud them. You know that God is nurturing you. So consider that, especially when you're going through your dark times. God is the one that carries you, because rest assured knows I'm going through some things, and I trust in God more than my fears. All right, because I be fearful of certain things, but I trust in God more. I know that He's going to be the one to help me navigate and protect me and my loved ones and my family and everyone here, because He's capable of it. And that's the only thing I can rely on. It's the only thing that we can rely on. We can trust and make sure our actions equate that we take steps to prepare ourselves. The rabbi's going to get into it next week as he's teaching Shemot. Well, we got to understand that until a plan of God didn't He heard the cry, but the plans didn't come, the deliverance didn't come into place until a plan was set in place and orchestrated by the people. It's real. Shifran Pua. They're gonna talk about that. All praise to the living God and everlasting King. I hope that you got something from these words. I know it was a little quiet and probably the heat, right? Content not thyself with satisfaction, but always strive for perfection.